Good morning, students. Chapter 5 Understanding Elementary Shapes. In Chapter 4, we have learned about line segments. Line segment is a part of a line and it has a fixed length. Line segments can be measured by comparison by observation, comparison by tracing, and comparison using a ruler and divider. An angle is formed by two rays having the same starting point. Right angle is an angle that measures exactly 90 degree. Straight angle is an angle that measures 180 degree. An angle that measures 360 degree is called a complete angle. An angle smaller than a right angle is called an acute angle. An angle which is more than a right angle but less than a straight angle is called an obtuse angle. An angle which is more than a straight angle but less than a complete angle is called a reflex angle. Exercise 5.1 question number 1. What is the disadvantage in comparing line segments by mere observation? By mere observation, we cannot compare line segments with slight difference in their length. We cannot say which line segment is of greater length. Hence, the chances of errors due to improper viewing are more. Question number 2. Why is it better to use a divider than a ruler while measuring the length of a line segment? It is better to use a divider than a ruler because while using a ruler, positioning error may occur due to the incorrect positioning of the eye. Question 3. Draw any line segment, say line segment AB. Take any point C lying in between A and B. Measure the lengths of AB, BC and AC is AB is equal to AC plus CB. So first draw a line segment AB and make points A, B and C such that C lies between A and B and AB is equal to 7 centimeter. So in this figure, AC is equal to 3 centimeter and BC is equal to 4 centimeter. Now AC plus CB is equal to 3 centimeter plus 4 centimeter, that is equal to 7 centimeter. But we know that AB is equal to 7 centimeter. So AB is equal to AC plus BC. Question 4. If A, B, C are 3 points on a line such that AB is equal to 5 cm, BC is equal to 3 cm and AC is equal to 8 cm, which one of them lies between the other two? Given AB is equal to 5 cm, BC is equal to 3 cm, AC is equal to 8 cm. Now it is clear that AC is equal to AB plus BC because 8 is equal to 5 plus 3. Hence, point B lies between A and C. Question number 5. Verify whether D is the midpoint of line segment AG. So, this line segment AG is equal to 6 units. From the figure, we can understand that line segment AG is equal to 6 units. Then, AD is equal to 3 unit and DG is equal to 3 unit. So AD is equal to DG is equal to 3 units. Hence D is the midpoint of AG. Question 6. If B is the midpoint of line segment AC and C is the midpoint of line segment BD, where A, B, C, D lie on a straight line, say YAB is equal to CD. So from this figure, B is the midpoint of AC. So AB is equal to BC. That is equation 1. Now C is the midpoint of BD. So BC is equal to CD. That is equation 2. From equation 1 and 2, we can write that AB is equal to CD. Question number 7 is homework. Do it yourself. Exercise 5.2, question number 1. What fraction of a clockwise revolution does the hour hand of a clock turn through when it goes from 3 to 9? In one complete clockwise revolution, the hour hand will rotate by 360 degrees. When the hour hand goes from 3 to 9 clockwise, it will rotate by 2 right angles, that is 180 degree. So the fraction is equal to 180 degree divided by 360 degree, that is equal to 1 upon 2. Question B 4 to 7. So when the hour hand goes from 4 to 7 clockwise, it will rotate by 1 right angle, that is 90 degree. So fraction is equal to 90 degree upon 360 degree, that is 1 upon 4. Question C 7 to 10. When the hour hand goes from 7 to 10 clockwise, it will rotate by 1 right angle or 90 degree. So the fraction is equal to 90 degree upon 360 degree, that is equal to 1 by 4. Now do question D, E and F yourself. Question 2. Where will the hand of a clock stop if it starts at 12 and make half of a revolution clockwise? So we know that in one complete clockwise revolution, the hand of a clock will rotate by 360 degree. Now half of revolution means half multiplied by 360, that is 180 degree. Now full revolution 360 degree means 60 minutes. So half revolution is equal to 30 minutes. So if the hand of the clock starts at 12 and make half of a revolution clockwise, then it will rotate by 180 degree and hence it will stop at 6. Question B starts at 2 and makes half of a revolution clockwise. So here half of revolution means half multiplied by 360, that is 180 degree. Then we know that half revolution means 30 minutes. So if the hand of the clock starts at 2 and makes half of revolution clockwise, then it will rotate by 180 degree and will stop at 8. Question C starts at 5 and makes 1 upon 4 of a revolution clockwise. So 1 upon 4 of a revolution means 1 upon 4 multiplied by 360 degree, that is 90 degree. 1 revolution is equal to 60 minutes. So 1 upon 4 revolution is equal to 1 upon 4 multiplied by 60, that is 15 minutes. So if the hand of the clock starts at 5 and makes 1 upon 4 of a revolution clockwise, it will rotate by 90 degree, that is 15 minutes, and hence it will stop at 8. Question D starts at 5 and makes 3 upon 4 of a revolution clockwise. So 3 upon 4 of a revolution means 3 upon 4 of 360 degree, that is 270 degree. Now 1 revolution is equal to 60 minutes. Then 3 upon 4 of revolution means 3 upon 4 of 60 minutes, that is 45 minutes. So if the hand of the clock starts at 5 and makes 3 upon 4 of a revolution, then it will rotate 270 degree or 45 minutes and stop at 2. Question 3a. Which direction will you face if you start facing east and make half of a revolution clockwise. If we start facing east and make half of a revolution clockwise, then we will face the west direction. B. East and make 1.5 of a revolution clockwise. If we start facing east and make 1.5 revolution clockwise, then we will face the west direction. Question C. West and make 3 upon 4 of a revolution anti-clockwise. If we start facing west and make 3 upon 4 of a revolution anti-clockwise, then we will face the north direction. D. South and make one full revolution. Should we specify clockwise or anti-clockwise for this last question? Why not? If we start facing south and make one full revolution, then we will again face the south direction, whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. In case of revolving by one complete round, direction in which we are revolving does not matter. In both cases, clockwise or anti-clockwise, we will be back at our initial position. What part of a revolution have you turned through if you stand facing east and turn clockwise to face north? If we stand facing east and turn clockwise to face north, then we have to make 3 upon 4 of a revolution. Question B. South and turn clockwise to face east. If we start facing south and turn clockwise to face east, then we have to make 3 upon 4 of a revolution. C. West and turn clockwise to face east. If we start facing west and turn clockwise to face east, then we have to make half of a revolution. Question 5. Find the number of right angles turned through by the hour hand of a clock when it goes from 3 to 6. The hour hand of a clock revolves by 90 degree or one right angle when it goes from 3. Question B. 2 to 8. The hour hand of a clock revolves by 180 degree or two right angles when it goes from 2 to 8. Question C. 5 to 11. The hour hand of a clock revolves by 180 degree or two right angles when it goes from 5 to 11. Do question number D, E and F yourself. Question 6. How many right angles do you make if you start facing south and turn clockwise to west? If we start facing south and turn clockwise to west, then we make one right angle. Question B. North and turn anti-clockwise to east. If we start facing north and turn anti-clockwise to east, then we make three right angles. Question C. West and turn to west. If we start facing west and turn to west clockwise, then we make one complete round or four right angles. If we start facing west and turn to west anti-clockwise, then also we will make one complete round or four right angles. South and turn to north. If we start facing south and turn to north, we make two right angles, whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. Question 7. Where will the hour hand of a clock stops if it starts from 6 and turns through one right angle? If the hour hand of a clock starts from 6 and turns through one right angle, it will stop at 9. Question B. From 8 and turns through two right angles. If the hour hand of a clock starts from 8 and turns through two right angles, then it will stop at 2. C. From 10 and turns through 3 right angles. If the hour hand of a clock starts from 10 and turns through 3 right angles, it will stop at 7. D. From 7 and turns through 2 straight angles. 2 straight angles means 1 complete angle. So if the hour hand of a clock starts from 7 and turns through 2 straight angles, then it will make 1 complete angle and stops at 7. Home assignment. Complete exercise 5.1 and 5.2 in your geometry book. Thank you.